Plus 10 is against my religion. It's so cold, I hate to say, in India.
Better than -10, I guess.
Yeah, it's a whole lot better. We were considering to go to Lithuania or Michigan, both. Just a second. All right. So let's go ahead and start. Okay. Thank you, Gore. So let's start with this prayer to Shilnath from Das Thakur. Or some Mongol Chanajam. Goragraganya Gana Gocha Goloruharam Goranga Guritama Gopyara Kolpa Briksham Gopalagada Ratidam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshikavaram Satatam Namami Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachiya Dileka Kola Kahi Prema Ananda Mona Goranga Hridaya Dariya Bola Bhaja Goranga Kaha Goranga Laha Gorangira Namare Jai Jana Goranga Bhaje Se Hoyamara Pranare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Yashaiva Padambuja Bhakti Labhya Prema-bhakti-candrika Parama-pumarta Tasmai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Madgavirapi Gopala Sri Kriyat Kripaya Jadi Tadaiva Sambhaya Pidva Rishayustat Priya Janaha Shri Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Sasanatana Rupaka Gopala Raghunathabda Brajabala Bapahimam Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we can recite this verse from Narottam Prabhu Ashtakam by Vishwanath. Shri Krishna Nama Amrita Bharshi Vaktra Chandra Prabhadvasatamo Baraya Gauranga Deva Anucharaya Namo Namah Srila Narottamaya. Lila Purushottam Prabhu, would you like to read the translation?
Yes. Again and again I offer my obeisances unto Srila Narottam Das Thakur. He is indeed a true follower of Lord Gauranga Dev. The nectarian shower of the holy name of Krishna radiating from the moon of his mouth destroys the darkness of ignorance.
So we're on the fourth song in Prema-bhakti-candrika, which is called Yugala Bhajan Nishta. And we're starting on the fifth stanza today. And in our last session, Narottam was speaking something about rendering service to the lotus feet of the Yugala Kishore. And now in this verse today, he becomes very, very ecstatic. He becomes perhaps a little humble, a little more humble, thinking about his desire to render service. So let's share this with you, today's verse. Here we go. Dasaneti Trinadhari Haha Kishora Kishori Charana Bijini Badan Kori Brajaraja Kumara Shama Brishabhanu Kumari Nama Shri Radhika Nama Manohara. I should have broke up in a different way. Just put this here. Anyway. So Narottam Das Thakur, he's now praying. He starts thinking about service to Radha and Krishna and how much he wants to do that. And then he thinks to himself, but I'm not a qualified person whatsoever. So he takes straw in his teeth and he starts calling out, ha ha, Kishore, Kishori. We used to go and visit. Jai Gaur can also speak about this amazing deities that Srila Prabhupada installed in Chicago, who Prabhupada named Kishore Kishori. Kishore Kishore. And maybe it just occurs to me that Prabhupada got that name from this song of Bhakti of Narottam Das Thakur. I don't know. So my dear Kishore Kishori, my dear young couple, I'm offering prayers to your lotus feet. I don't want to just serve your lotus feet, but I'm offering prayers to your lotus feet. And then he starts thinking about Krishna, how Krishna's Braja Raja Kumara Sham. He's the son of the king of Braj. He's Kumara Sham, Brishabhanu Kumari Nam, and how Srimati Radharani is a Kumari of Brishabhanu Maharaj. She's named that Kumari. Shri Radhika Nama Manohari. And it's that Radharani who's enchants Krishna. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Krishna is a Manohari, and he captivates the mind of Sri Radhika and other goddesses of fortune. So this is a little above my pay level to speak on this subject today, but it's a very, very nice, sweet subject. And again, in the beginning, let's put things in a proper frame. We don't have adhikar, at least in my case, to speak on this topic. But at the same time, we should know that such things exist. It's not that we should burn the books of the six Goswamis because we're not qualified to read them. Right? What is the point then of those books? We may not be qualified to be meditating on them, as we were discussing in our last session about Siddha Pranali and about coming to the platform above and what is Raganuga, what is Vaidhi Bhakti. We may not be qualified for that, but Srila Prabhupada spoke about Raganuga Bhakti, and Prabhupada spoke about Radha Krishna, even as you'll see in this next Bindu issue, our third issue about Radharani's sulky feelings with Krishna, the astonishing nature of Man. Prabhupada speaks quite a bit about it. We've got 4 different articles from Srila Prabhupada in 4 different magazines that Prabhupada is speaking about Radharani's Man with Krishna. So let's dive into this subject today. Narottam Das Thakur here, he's singing that Dasaneti Trinidadi, that I'm holding straw in my teeth. So we know from Prema-bhakti-candrika, and we discussed in some previous session, I won't go back to that again, how there's an intuitive, natural connection between Krishna prema and humility in terms of cause and effect. And Prema-bhakti-candrika basically explains that humility is the life force of our sadhana, of our devotional practice. Without humility, whatever so-called devotion we have, it's lifeless. And from that humility, prema arises. And from prema, again, humility arises. And we spoke about that elaborately in some previous discussions. I won't go there again. But I would like to look back in one of our previous sessions where we spoke about a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is actually composed by Srila Sanatana Goswami and included in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami. Very, very beautiful verse, which I think expresses very nicely Narottam Das Thakur's feelings in this stanza that we're looking at today. Na prema shavanadi bhakti rapi vayogo tava vaishnavo gyanam vasubhakarma va kiyadaho sajjatir apyastir va hinartadi kasadaki tvayita tapya jamula sati higopi janavalabha vyatayate haha madhusaiva. This is us. He describes in such a beautiful way. Not prema. I have no prema. Shravanadi. I have no ability to hear and chant. It's not like I'm such a big listener. I remember everything is spoken. And Shravanadi also refers to Navavidi Bhakti, that I'm not practicing sadhana bhakti properly. Adi means etc. And Shravan is the beginning of that, of the Navavidi Bhakti. I have no bhakti. I have no yoga. I have no connection with Krishna. I have no ability to control my senses. I'm not a Vaishnava tattva, a Vaishnavo. Jnanam, I have no knowledge. Even don't talk to me about Varnashram Dharma. I have no Subha karma. I have no hope for that. Kiyata host, it's Jyatir Pyastiva. I'm not born in Satjati. I'm not born in a good family. I didn't even want to talk about the dynasty of my family. It's a very, very depressing thing. I don't have anything good. Hinartadika sadaki tatapya chijamula sati. But there's this tatapi, still he says, I have this achijamula sati. I have this mula, this root desire, this hope, which vyatayate is giving me great pain in my heart. And that hope is that somehow, because you give mercy to the most fallen persons, you're hinartadika sadake, that person, that sadak, who comes to you in a very humble in a humble manner, you're merciful to that person. That's giving me some hope. This very, very beautiful and important verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu indicates the attitude of a proper sadhak. Not that, oh, I'm doing all kinds of sadhana, I'm chanting 64 rounds a day, I'm chanting 3 lakhs of rounds a day, I'm fasting every Ekadasi, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's not our qualification. And it won't attract the attention of Krishna. What will attract Krishna's attention begins with honesty. Because any relationship, and bhakti is a relationship, any relationship is based on the foundation of honesty. So he's starting off with all these things. Na prema savanadi bhakti rapiva yogo tava vaishnavo. I have no prema, I have not hearing and chanting, I have no connection, I'm not a devotee, I have no knowledge, I have no subha karma, I'm not born in a good family. I don't have anything, but I have hope. And this hope is torching my heart. And the amazing thing is here that there's an intense kind of contrast which is being presented here. He's addressing Krishna not as Narayan or the Karta, Jagat Karta, the controller of the universe, the creator of the universe, but he's addressing Krishna, hey Gopi Jana Vallabha. He's addressing Krishna as Gopinath, the Lord of the Gopis. I'm not qualified for anything. I have no prema, I have no this, I have no that. But I have this very intense feeling. I want you because I've heard about this. Such a very, very important thing. Right? Oh, that's really a good comment from Manish. Thank you. Audio quality is significant better. Let me make a quick comment. I had a devotee friend of mine who's like an audio technician. I called him in the other day and we sat down at the computer, and this fancy, beautiful Kensington mic that we've got in our brand new computer, it causes troubles because it adjusts the sound. And so he looked over all the different options we got and he said, this thing is the best. This a simple Apple mic. So we're doing that today. So this anyway, this is our prayer. This is our hope. This is my asha, my desire. It's the only thing which is keeping me alive. And this humility, this crying out like it, this is the heart of bhakti. It's not, as we were saying before, it's not that we're the International Society for Sukriti Consciousness. And we should look at ourselves. And so many times I see in myself, oh, if I go to Mangal Artik, I'll get some benefit. It says in Hari Bhakti Vilas that if you see the Artik of the Lord, if you offer Dandavats, you'll become free from material desires, you'll become purified of sins, you'll get this thing, you'll get that thing. That's not our desire. Ujjwala Rasika is here today too. Wow. Really wonderful to be with everybody. Right? The heart of our bhakti is humility, which is based on honesty. And Srila Jiva Goswami speaks about this in Bhakti Sandarbha in several places. He quotes Brahma Vivarta Purana. This is Anucheta 209. Let's share this verse. It's a really beautiful verse. Militopi na labhyeta jivar ahamika parai. He says that as long as people have pride, they can't attain Krishna. Na labhyeta jivar ahamika parai. Even though they may milita, they may come in contact with Krishna. Many demons saw Krishna in Dwapara Yuga, but they didn't attain him, even though they encountered him. So we should contemplate this. And Jiva Goswami, I won't go much more into this section from Bhakti Sandarbha, but it's a very fascinating section. He speaks about the holy name and humility. And he also speaks about how well, as long as we have this attachment to the body, then we can't develop humility. Let's look at this next verse. It's also from Brahma Vivarta Purana. Ahankara nivitanam keshavo nahi duragaha ahankara yutanam hi madhye parvata rasaya. First, those persons who ahankara nivitanam, who are free from their ahankar, from their false ego, then keshavo nahi duraga. It's not difficult. Durga means difficult. It's not difficult for them to get Krishna. But ahankara yutanam, for those persons who are ahankara yukta, who have this false ego, he madhye parvata rasika. Between them and Krishna, madhye parvata, there's a huge mountain range of mountains between themselves and Krishna. And then Jiva Goswami, in Bhakti Sandarbha, he quotes Rupa Goswami's Pajavali to define what is humility. And that's a very good question. Let's look at this verse. This is text 66 from Rupa Goswami's Pajavali. Parama karuniko nabhavat para parama sochatamu nachamat para. Iti vichincha hare mahi pamare yad uchitam yad yadunata tadachara. My dear Lord, this is your position, your parama karunika. Nabhavat para. You're the most merciful, parama karunika. Nobody is more merciful than you. And this is my situation, parama sochatamo, nachamat para. There's nobody more pathetic. What a beautiful word, pathetic. There's nobody more pathetic than myself. In the beginning of Harinam Chintamani, Haridas Thakur addresses Mahaprabhu and he says, Adama, Ami Adama, Tumi Adama Tarana. That I'm fallen and you're the deliverer of the fallen. This is our connection between the two. I'm very, very fallen. He says, I'm just a palmer. I'm very, very fallen, very, very lowly person. So you should consider, you reflect on my case, and you do to me whatever is appropriate. This is bhakti. And it's so refreshing, so inspiring. Not that my dear Lord, give me some money. My dear Lord, give me this, give me that. But rather we approach the Lord in a mood of humility and just being honest that you're the most merciful, I'm the most pathetic. Now you should just think about my situation and do whatever is appropriate for me. Right? in the Bhagavatam, there's a prayer, I think it's from Prithu Maharaj, where he prays that, my dear Lord, just as a father knows what's best for the son, so in the same way, you know what's best for me. You take care of me, because I don't know what's best for me. Especially if I'm a teenager, I think alcohol is good. I think young girls are good. I think movies are good. I think so many nonsense things are good. So if I pray to you, I don't know what to pray for. So I'm just coming to you and surrendering and addressing the fact of the matter that I'm a very, very fallen person. And Dasaneti Trinidadi, Narottam Das Thakur is saying in his verse today, with straw in my teeth, I'm coming and I'm praying before you. So I want to speak a little bit about the purport of straw in the teeth. And most of you, I think, have heard us sing this song on one of our favorite songs, Gauranga Karuna Koro. I have a theory. My theory is that in Madhya Lila chapter 1, which describes the meeting of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Ramakeli, my theory is that the author of this song, Gauranga Karuna Koro, it's accredited to Narottam Das Thakur, but my theory is that this song is based on these verses in Madhya Lila chapter 1. And I'd like to just go through these a little bit with you. Dui gucha trini. Trini means a straw. Duni dasani dharina. Again, this word dasani in the teeth, same word that Narottam Das Thakur is using in our verse today. Dasani trina, that I'm holding the straw on my teeth. And they've come and they put some cloth around their neck. When you see the Brahmin Pandits in India, they put a cloth on their left shoulder. But someone who is expressing humility traditionally, they put a cloth around their neck. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but that's a tradition. And as we commented before, Narottam Das Thakur is credited this song, Gauranga Karuna Koro. Let's look at that. Dante Trinadori Goradaki He Tomar. He's singing that with straw in my teeth, I'm calling out your name. Daki He Tomar. And the word Daki is a very nice word, actually. There's an expression in Bengali and Oriya language, Dak Nam. Dak Nam means the kind of village name that someone may have. It means a name. Daki means to call out, but it means in a very intimate kind of way, that I'm calling out to you because you're my only friend. But he's calling with straw in his teeth. How can you call that with straw in your teeth? It indicates that whatever I'm speaking is from the heart. And the tradition, why is it that in so many places we hear this expression, Dante Trinadori, here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Dui Gacha Trina, that they're taking straw in their teeth. Narottam Das Thakur is singing here, Dasaniti Trinadari. Again and again and again, the straw in the teeth. What does that mean? We've come into culture, Vedic culture, and there is a difference between the two. But there is some connection also. In traditional Vedic culture, if someone makes a big mistake, they go and they throw a bucket of cold water on the devotees in the New York Harinam party when they're doing it, because they don't like it. It's like a really evil thing. That's not just a mistake, but that's Vaishnava aparad, especially in the winter in New York. Then you have to do something. So traditionally, if someone did some bad thing, they put straw in their teeth, and they go door to door and they beg. Now, you can't say anything with straw in your teeth, and that's the point. For those of you with children, you know that when you chastise a child, quite often the child says, no, it wasn't me, it was my brother. He did this thing. I did my homework, but the dog ate it. This or that. And children make so many different excuses. Right? But when someone has straw in their teeth, it means that I'm standing here in front of you. I'm ready to accept my punishment. Now you can go ahead and punish me. And there's a beautiful excerpt from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, which is printed in Amritavani. I'd like to share with you. Jai Gaur, do you want to read this from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta? What does Lord than the straw in the street mean? Go ahead.
Yes, Ru. I'm trying to switch the windows. Okay. Although the Vaishnavas are topmost, they consider themselves lower than the straw on the street. Actually, they are not fallen or low class. They are very dear to the Lord and are fit to be worshipped. Everyone should show them respect. To think, I am a particle of dust at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, or I am the servant of Guru and Krishna, is what is meant by becoming lower, straw on the street. We should show compassion towards all living entities, developing a taste for chanting the Lord's names, and serve Vaishnavas. These are Mahaprabhu's three principal instructions. If we think ourselves lower than straw on the street, we will not take shelter of duplicity while displaying only a pretense of humility. We will actually become humble and therefore eligible to chant. In other words, true humility means to develop a taste for chanting and to become a true servant of the holy. Service to Guru and the Vaishnavas is the gateway through which we develop such taste. Service to the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas certainly amount to becoming lower than the straw on the street. This does not mean that we should become subordinate to non-devotees. Rather, it means to beg mercy from and show respect to devotees. Mahajans instructed us not to display our humility before everyone. To show our humility towards hypocrites or envious atheists like Ravana is not what it means to think ourselves lower than the straw on the street. If we break this instruction, we will never become qualified to chant the holy name. Rather, our actions will amount to our becoming envious of others. Hanuman burnt Lanka for Ram. That is an example of becoming lower than straw on the street.
Hanuman kicked butt on Lanka, and that's an example of his humility. We have a deep misunderstanding of what is real humility, and therefore Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is addressing this, and many very important points in this, defining what does it mean to think ourselves lower than the straw on the street. It means that we're considering ourselves to be the servant of Gurudev and the Vaishnavas. And that service is humility. And it means also that we don't exhibit our humility to non-devotees, or even to persons who may look like devotees. But if they're very envious and they're very harsh in their dealings, then I would say this much: it depends. It reminds me of a story we heard about Srila Prabhupada, that after one of the big Pandal programs, I believe, in Delhi, across Maidan, some local person came and challenged Srila Prabhupada. And the first thing he said was, "What are you guys? If you guys are really preaching, why don't you go to Pakistan and preach?" And Prabhupada later sent Brahmananda because of that. And it's a whole nother story, how Prabhupada became fearful for Brahmananda's life and worried about him. But that man, if it's the same story, I'm thinking there may be another story similar. That man started chastising Srila Prabhupada and saying, "You people are bogus, you're this and that." And Prabhupada was just the same Prabhupada who was behaving like a lion in the Pandal program in front of this angry person, suddenly became very humble and just didn't really say much. And then the man left, and the devotees were surprised, and they commented to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told them that I must have offended him in a previous life. So sometimes humility is a useful thing with non-devotees, but I would suggest that we have to be careful. And here in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's comments, if someone is a very, very terrible demon, an atheist, a hypocrite, someone like Ravan, we don't go and present ourselves as lower than the straw on the street with them. Our humility will be shown with them if we can tolerate sometimes some of the things they say. Sometimes that's required, but we don't go and bow down our heads before them and express so much humility before people who are just angry. I'm just looking at Uchala Resika's comments. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Dasaneti Trinidadi, that withdraw in my teeth, I'm coming before you. Right? And let's go through some of these verses in this Madhya Lila chapter 1. And then I'd like to go to a little more esoteric subject matter that's indicated, I think, in this stanza today. So this is Madhya Lila chapter 1, text 86. Dainya Rodhana Kode. And it describes that when these two brothers saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ananda Vivala, in great ecstasy, they started crying and crying, Dainya Rodhana Kode. And then Mahaprabhu, seeing that, he responded to them, Uta, Uta, get up, Haila Mangala. May everything be auspicious for you. Uti Dui Bhai, Tabidhante Chinadhari. And then again, it mentions here, they took straw in their teeth and they started offering prayers, Dainya Kodi Stuti, prayers of great humility and with folded hands before the Lord. Nicha Jati, Nicha Sangi, Kodi, Nicha Kaj. Tomara Agrete Prabhu Kahite Basi Laj. I said, my dear Lord, we have this lodge, we have this shame. We're ashamed to even come before you because Nicha Jati, we're the most fallen. And why? Because Nicha Sangi, we've been associating with very nasty fallen persons. Kori Nicha Kaj, our Kaj, just like in Bengali and Oriya, the word Kaj is a common used word, means work, but they say Kabur Kagaj. Kabur Kagaj means a newspaper. It's the newspaper. Tomara Agreti Prabhu Kahiti Basi Laj. So we can't even introduce ourselves to you. All we can just do is just bow our head and just cry. Na prema shavanadi bhakti rapi vayogo tava vaishnavo. And this is the prayer of Sanatana Goswami. Matuyo nasti papatma naparadi chakashana parihare pilajya mekim bruvi purushotama. This is a verse also from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. If you look at me, not matuyo, you can't find anybody who nasti papatma, who's as fallen, who's the greatest sinner, who's naparadi, who's such an offender as myself, parihare pilajame, and even worse than that, I don't have any shame. The brothers in the previous say, kahite basi laj, we feel ashamed to come before you. And then the next verse, they quote this sloka, the Sanskrit sloka, that actually we don't even have any shame because we're not trying to give up these things. We're not trying to give up our sinful activities. We're just coming before you, and we're just crying. Patita pavana hetu tomara avatar. And for those of you think of this Gauranga Karuna Kora, what does this sound like? I really think this section of Madhya Lila is the inspiration for this song. My dear Lord, you're the deliver the fallen. Hetu tomara avatar. To deliver us, this is the hetu, the purpose of your coming here. Amabhai jagati patita nahi ar. You won't find anyone as fallen as us. In Gauranga Karuna Kora song, we have this line in the beginning, Gauranga Karuna Kora dinahina jani. Ami dinahina jani. That I'm the most fallen person, mosamo patita prabhu nahi tri bhuvani. You won't find anybody as fallen as myself. So I think this song is based on this Madhya Lila chapter 1 discussion. And they go on to compare themselves to Jagai and Madai. And they say, yeah, you delivered Udara, these two brothers, Jagai and Madai, but Shama Nahila Tomar, it wasn't very difficult for you to do so. Because Jagai and Madai, actually, they had some good qualities. Brahmana Jatitar, Nabadvipagar, they belonged to a Brahmin family. They were Dambasis. Their house was in Navadweep. Nicha Seva Nahi Kori, Nahi Nichera Kupur. So they said that they never served Nicha Seva, they never served nasty people. They were not instrumental, Kupura, for bad activities, but we have been. Sabi ekadoshatar hoya papachar. Papa rasi dahi namabase tomar. He said that actually, if you think about it, these two brothers, ekadoshatar, they had just one fault. Hoya papachar. They were papacharis. They were addicted to sinful activities. But what's the problem? Papa Rashi Dahi Namabase Tomar. They just say your name once, just by the Namabas, they can become delivered from all those sinful reactions. Jagai Madai Hoite Koti Koti Gun. But they say Adama Patita Papi Ami Dui Jan. We're millions and millions of times, Koti Koti, millions and millions of times more fallen than Jagai and Madai. We're more degraded, more fallen, more sinful than they. How is that? Because previously they're saying we've served low-class persons. We're associating with these people. We're part of the Nawab Hussain Shah's program. Malacha Jati. Malacha, because Malacha Savi, we're saviks of these meat eaters. Malacha Karma, we're always doing this work of the meat eaters. Go Brahmana Drohi Sange Amara Sangama. And because we're associating with people like that, then we're this Go Brahmana Drohi Sangha, this Drohis, these angry people, we're envious enemies. Then we've become the enemy of the Brahmins and the cows. Prabhupada notes in his purport, a little bit of a long purport, I just put it in a couple of sentences. There are two kinds of meat eaters. One is born in a family of meat eaters, and one who has learned to associate with meat eaters. And so Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they're thinking that because we associated, and I read this and I just thought to myself, my God, what Srila Prabhupada must be thinking about. This is a little bit of a sidetrack, but what Prabhupada must be thinking about when he wrote this purport. I mean, he's born in a Vaishnava family. He doesn't know what it means to eat meat. He's writing this purport probably when he was in Los Angeles, when he's staying with all of his Western disciples who are a bunch of meat eaters. And Prabhupada's saying, he's thinking about Rupa and Sanatana Goswami and how one attains the character of a meat eater simply by associating with meat eaters. There's a kind of irony there. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's not associating with meat eaters. He took so many Yavana Malechas and he made them into Vaishnavas. But it's a kind of irony to me. So then they tell Mahaprabhu, Rupa and Sanatana, say, Ama udarite boli nahi tribhuvani, that in all the three worlds, there's no one as fallen as us. Patita pavana tumi sabi tomavini. Therefore, you're the only savior. So what does that sound like? In Gauranga Karuna Koro, we'll come to that. And he's saying again, Ama udariya jari deka nijapal. Patita pavana name tabe se safal. So if you deliver us, then your name as Patit Pavan will be the proper. Satya eka bata kahun suna doya moya. Movino doyara pata jagate nahoy. So just hear us, please. There's no other hope for us and all the three worlds than you. More doya kore koro, shi doya safala, akila brahmanda deku katomada doya bhala. We are the most fallen. So if you show your mercy, then everybody will know that you're really Patit Pavan. So this is Gauranga Karuna Koro song also. Jari doya nakori bi patita dekiya. If you don't give mercy to us, then how are you really Patit Pavan? If you see that we're so fallen, Patita dekiya, you don't want to give us your mercy, then Patita Pavan nama kishara lagia. How can you be known as Patit Pavan? So I really think this Madhya Lila chapter 1 is a source of inspiration for the song. And then they quote the Sanskrit shloka from Stotra Ratna of Yamunacharya. Samisha paramatam evam me shinu vigyapanam ekam agrita yadimana dayasyase tada Dayaniyastava Nata Durlabaha. Let us submit one piece of information before you, dear Lord. It's nam risha. Risha means a lie. It's not a lie, it's a truth. Paramartam eva me. This is something paramarta. This is a very, very significant thing. It's not false. Prabhupada says it's full of meaning. It's this: if you are not merciful upon us, then it'll be very, very difficult to find more suitable candidates for your mercy. This is going a Karuna Coil. This is the mood of Narottam Das Thakur. And Mahaprabhu, when he heard Rupa and Sanatan speaking like this, Suno Mahaprabhu Kahi Suna Dabir Kas. He heard Dabir Kas and Sakar Malik, and he said to them, Tumi Dui Bhai Mora Puratana Das, you're my old servants. Aji Hoite Dunhara Nam Rupa Sanatan. From now on, you'll be known as Rupa and Sanatan. Dainya Chada, give up this humility. Tomara Dainya Fate Moraman, because it's breaking my heart seeing your humility. So this is their connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is through their humility, through their honesty. When bad things happen to us, this is our only hope. This is the same prayer that Maharaj Prataparudra offered to the devotees before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he heard that Mahaprabhu wasn't going to give him darshan. And this is in Madhya Lila chapter 11. Prataparudra chadi kori be jagat nishtar e pratigya kori yachina avatar. And he says, what? Has Mahaprabhu come to save everybody except for this king named Prataparudra, except for me? And Prabhupada gives a beautiful purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is thus described by Narottam Das Thakur, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, Mosama Patita Prabhu Napai Beyar. If Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended to reclaim sinners, then one who's the most sinful and lowborn is the first candidate for the Lord's consideration. Maharaj Prataparudra considered himself a most fallen soul because he had to deal with material things constantly and enjoy material profits. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's business was the deliverance of the most fallen. How then could he reject the king? The more fallen a person is, the more he has a right to be delivered by the Lord, provided, of course, he surrenders unto the Lord. Maharaj Prataparudra was a fully surrendered man. Therefore, the Lord could not refuse him on the grounds that he was a worldly pounds, shillings man. Wow. This is our movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that all that we have, as my Guru Maharaj often says, your only qualification is your disqualification. And so we wear that, we accept that. And this is Narottam Das Thakur's prayer. In our previous verse, in verse 4, in previous stanza, he was praying for the Yugal Kishore Seva, the service at the lotus feet of the divine couple. And then he starts thinking, how can I do that? I have no qualification for service. And he starts crying. Dasaneti Trinadori, ha ha, Kishore, Kishore. Calling out, ha ha, Kishore, Kishore. He reveals his lamentation, born of love and separation. And holding a straw in his teeth, he starts praying, I don't have adhikar, I don't have qualification. I made a big mistake. Please forgive me. I said I'd like to render service for you, but I don't have qualification for that service. So then he starts crying. And then what's being described in this verse? Some Vaishnavas commenting on this verse, they explain, because he's taking straw in his teeth. He starts crying. Oh, I'm so unqualified. Ha ha, Kishore, Kishori. Charnabe Janibidan Kori. I'm offering this prayer to you. I'm praying to your lotus feet. And then what happens? He begins to have a vision. From Narottam Das Thakur's initial, he has this initial prayer. Yeah, I'd really like to do service for you. I really want to have spontaneous devotion for you. And then it goes to his heart and he thinks, but I have no qualification. And he takes straw in his teeth and he starts calling out, ha ha, Kishore, Kishore. And then something happens to him. He starts describing the form of Krishna. Brajaraja Kumara Sham. And then he describes the form of Radharani, Brishabhanu Nandini Nam. He says, oh, son of Nanda Maharaj, Brajaraja Kumara Sham. Oh, Sham, you're the thief. You're the person who steals the mind of Brishabhanu Maharaj's daughter and the women of Braj. So it's as though Narottam Das Thakur, now the sudden, he has some personal ecstasy and he develops some vision. And he begins to express that. So he uses this expression, he addresses Krishna, Brajaraja Kumara Sham. And all these words are very significant. Brajaraj Kumar, you're the son of Nanda Maharaj. Who is Nanda Maharaj? It's described, Nanda Yati Jagat Iti Nanda. That person who delights the world, Nanda means to delight, that person who delights the world, Nanda Yati Jagat Iti Nanda. He's Nanda. And his blissful son is Brajaraja Nandana, is the son is Krishna, son of Nanda Maharaj. And so perhaps Narottam Das Thakur, he's praying like this, and then all of a sudden his eyes become filled with a blackish kind of light. And then he addresses Krishna as Sham. He sees Krishna from his humility. And again, the word Sham is a very particular word. The word Sham is defined, Sayati Gachati Manosmin Iti Shamaha. What is this? Is the definition of Sham. Sayati Gachati Manosmin Iti Shamaha. That person whose the mind goes to is Sham. So Narottam Das Thakur is addressing Krishna. Every word is significant. He's saying Brajaraja Kumara Sham. That you're the son of Nanda Maharaj and you're Sham, because he's seeing now Krishna. Krishna has appeared before him, and that form of yours is Sham. Sayati Gachati Manosmin Iti Shama. This is the meaning of Sham. That personality who the mind naturally goes to is Sham. Chandidas describes this also. Tomara Premi Bhandi Hoilam Sunu Shama Roy. That my dear Sham Roy, Radha and Krishna. Tomara Premi Bhandi Hoilam Sunu. Listen, Suno. I become bound up by your love. And that's the very meaning of the word Sham. Leonardo da Vinci once said a beautiful thing. Speaking about art, he said, the lover is drawn by the thing which is loved, just as the sense is drawn by that which it perceives. So this is Sham. And this is what Narottam Das Thakur is expressing here. And this vision of his has come due to his intense humility. He's praying for service, but then he thought, oh, I have no qualification for that. Please forgive me. And he put straw in his teeth. And from deep in his heart, he starts crying out, ha ha, Kishore, Kishore. And he sees and he has some vision of Krishna's beauty. So this is our verse today. This is the prayer of Sanatana Goswami. Let me put this on the board again. I love this prayer. This is such a wonderful verse. Na prema shavanadi bhakti rapi vayogo tava vaishnavo gyanam va subhakarma va kiyadaho sajjati rapyasti va hinartadi kesa daki tvaita tapya chijamula sati higopi jana valabha vyatayate haha madashaiva mam. Leela Purushottam, would you like to read the translation, please?
Yes. O my Lord, I do not have any love for you, nor am I qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing, nor do I possess the mystic power of a Vaishnava, knowledge or pious activities, nor do I belong to a very high caste family. On the whole, I do not possess anything. Still, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestow your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. That hope is always giving me pain.
Wow. So let's read our verse again, today's verse here. Dasaniti Chinadhari Haha Kishore Kishore Charna Beji Nibidena Koi Braja Raja Kumara Sham Vrishabhanu Kumari Nam Shiradika Nama Manohari. And Tirtha Rajvi, would you like to read the translation here? If I can find it. There it is. Here. O Divine Youthful Couple. Are you there?
Just wrote a message that he has to leave, so maybe he did already.
Okay. Leela Purushottam Prabhu, please.
In just a second. O divine youthful couple, O Shyama Sundara, the son of the king of Braja, O Radhika, the beautiful enchanting daughter of King Vrishabhanu, taking a straw in my mouth, I pray to your lotus feet.
So this is our verse today. Nautam Das Thakur. We'll go ahead and stop. And there's a few comments from everybody. Let's see here. Ujjala Rashigya, it's nice to have her. She's still here right now? Yes, she is. Okay. She's commenting that humility is a heart of bhakti. And it's very refreshing, very nourishing. When we hear about Sudha Bhakti, we become nourished. When we hear about Varnashram Dharma, we don't become nourished. I'm sorry. And it's not that Varnashram Dharma is bad. It's not that someone shouldn't learn how to work. It's not that there shouldn't be any system in society. It's important. It should be. But it doesn't give happiness to the heart in the way that Sudha Bhakti does. Jaigor is still present. I have to go out for Sankirtan, Tirthakar Prabhu. Okay, has to go. And Jaigor Prabhu made some comment here. I'll go ahead and read this, and then we'll take, if anybody wants to share something, you can raise your hand. There's a way to do that. I think it's called reactions, or I don't know where it's at. I don't know the software, so I'm just going to read Jaigor's comment.
In the reactions.
Okay. What does it mean to have genuine humility required to constantly and uncompromisingly adhere to the practice of Nam Sankirtan, to unwittingly allow ourselves to be regressed to a state of infancy by the institutional manipulators? Hare Krishna Jula Rasiga, thank you for your association today. To unwillingly allow ourselves to be regressed. Is this something from Ayendra Prabhu? Yeah, I think so. It smells like Ayendra Prabhu. Okay, let's just read this. What does it mean to have the genuine humility required to constantly and uncompromisingly adhere to the practice of Nam Sankirtan, to unwittingly allow ourselves to be regressed to a state of infancy by the institutional manipulators of men and money, that they might conveniently maneuver us to advance a managerial agenda according to the whims via their artful appliance of the principles of child psychology, is not what is truly meant by Trinadapi Sunicena. The correct understanding is very simple for the simple, contextually implied by the proposed adoption of an attitude of humbleness, is simply the seemliness and honestly admitting that we are fallen Kali Yuga creatures, having no qualification to achieve the goal of life by any means other than the process foreordained by the Shastras and propagated by the most merciful Lord Gaur, is the only viable dharma for the deliverance of the fallen souls of this age, namely Harinam Sankirtan. Equally connoted is the spiritual integrity required To boldly stand up against all odds, Toror Eva Sahishtrana, and simply do what is right according to time, Kali Yuga, and circumstance, our fallen condition. In doing so, we should not be unrealistic. We should not unrealistically expect to be regarded as being fit for any other practice, amanina, and we should respect manadena, the true self-interest of others similarly fallen Kali Yuga creatures, in the matter of their attaining the fruit of Braj Prem, by encouraging them to also take up the Dharma of the age. And he comments on that it seems to him that Ayendra Prabhu was inspired by the statement of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So, Brinda Sundar, you have some comment you want to share with us?
Thanks, Prabhu. I'm glad to be here and hearing from you and everyone. I was appreciating how you use the term honest humility, and then how Prabhupada was saying that with some, we have to have discretion with how we use our honesty, like who we're interacting with, and when we interact in a humble way, what cause that has with different people, like what comes from it. And yeah, it seems like sometimes we might say, well, with this person, it's not, they don't deserve my humility or whatever. But it could be just us not actually wanting to take responsibility in the situation, or actually just simply being honest. And yeah, I'm thinking, like, how do we know, really? It seems to be a different scenarios and different situations, because in some situations I remember, like, I was being honest and it was with senior devotees when it was a managerial sort of situation. And then, I was told that I was being proud, that I was a very proud person. And I was thinking, wait, like, I'm being honest where I'm at, and this is a managerial situation. I get that you're senior, and like, why are we getting into character judgment here? So yeah, it just seems like some situations, how do we express our humility? It seems like case by case.
Yeah, I was also struck by that comment of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, which I think you're referring to, that we should not display our humility in front of non-devotees. And sometimes, even as you must be referring to, even in front of so-called devotees, it's mistaken sometimes. They just can't understand it, or they just use it in the wrong way. So better than we can be a dartboard.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's not bad for us. One of the devotees here at the temple went out yesterday for book distribution, and I talked to them afterwards, and they said that was the hardest day they'd ever had, and they were crying and crying. It was such a difficult thing for them. And I said, well, we were just speaking with Gora, who's on our line right now too. That's the nature. It's something I actually read from Radhanath Maharaj recently, where Maharaj was saying that the heart is a place to plant the seed of bhakti. But to plant that seed, you have to till the land. You have to break the land. And so similarly, sometimes our heart is so hard, and it takes some time to make the ground proper, so that we put a seed in there. And so we go out and we talk to people, and it's very, very difficult in Sankirtan or whatever our service is, whether it's as a manager or a preacher or an artist or whatever thing we're doing. When people criticize us, that's maybe Krishna's way of tilling our heart, so that the seed of bhakti can grow from that. Mm-hmm. Thank you for what you do. I always appreciate the managers. It's a very and it's a hard thing. It's hard in a business to be a manager, but being a manager in ISKCON, I'd like to just point out to everybody, is much, much, much more difficult. Because in a business, you can build a team and you have the same people there for many, many years. But in a temple, you constantly have new people coming, and they're not trained up. In a business, also people are trained, but in the temple, new people coming and they're not trained, and they really have no reason to appreciate you or respect you, except that you have this position. So it's a great austerity. You do it, and that's why I think it's so important that we develop natural communities, even next to our temples. And of course, I think pretty much every temple has a community wherever I've gone of some sort or another. But natural meaning that the respect is a natural respect, and devotees are mature, and they've made decisions, mature decisions. I want to be here. I want to cooperate with this for a higher purpose. That's a mature community. It's really important. Okay, nice to see you again, Brenda Sundari.
Yeah.
What's the weather like in Denver?
Today actually is getting up to the high 60s Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
sunny. I mean, all the trees are bare, but it's blue skies and
We lost you.
oh, yeah. I mean, all the trees are bare and it's not very green, but it's warm-ish.
Yeah, that's life in the Rocky Mountains. It's strange.
Yeah.
The weather changes. You go for a hike in the mountains in the Rockies, and it's a beautiful, warm, sunny day, and you bring a coat with you and a sweater, because in 2 minutes, all of a sudden, it's freezing rain and hail, things, and
Yeah.
it's completely crazy.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you for taking part today.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share anything? Leela Purushottam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I also noted that sentence that you used on the beginning. I really like that. Heart of the bhakti is humility based on honesty. But I understood it like mostly that the humility sprouts from the like self-honesty, like being honest with ourselves, like not creating the false conceptions of our advancement or whatever, and as soon as we can be like truly honest to ourselves, then the natural outcome will be humility. And at least at least in my fallen state, it's quite easy. If I could be honest to myself, then the humility would be the only possible outcome. Then I was surprised actually with I know that passage actually from Madhya Lila, but I always wonder like why, because we hear so many beautiful, wonderful descriptions of how humility is appreciated in the realm of bhakti and how is it almost synonymous. And Jiva Goswami says is the most beautiful ornament of bhakti, and these statements like that. And then Gauranga to Rupa and Sanatan's expression of humility, which is breathtaking actually and very wonderful, nice. But he says, give up your humility, it breaks my heart. Like, where's the connection?
Well, Jiva Goswami also in Bhakti Sundarbha, he says that our function, we want to melt the heart of an advanced devotee. And so we do that by expressing our humility in a natural way, by being honest. And then that breaks the Lord's heart. And in Prema-bhakti-candrika Jiva Goswami says that becomes bhakti. When the Lord's heart melts like that. So Mahaprabhu couldn't tolerate it. It's pleasing to him. The humility is very pleasing. But at the same time, he can't tolerate it. It's like if Gurudev comes before us, and is very humble. If your Guru Maharaj comes to visit you and wants to clean your toilets or something, you know, how do you feel? Guru Maharaj, please, it breaks your heart. But at the same time, it also fills you with a kind of ecstasy in a paradoxical way to see how humble he is. So that's the nature of humility.
We're planting some bushes here with him, and I was trying to convince him to not do it. Like, I will do it myself. And he was trying to convince me, no, I want to do something. Please take me to the garden and plant the raspberry bushes. I remember till today. And that's maybe the thing, that if one, especially me, not having the English as a first language, if I hear like it breaks my heart, I may associate it with something negative, but the emotion behind it might be very positive. Actually, it might like stimulate the Lord's affection for his devotee, and in that sense, it's a positive experience on the side of the Lord, seeing the humility of his devotee. Although the words he expresses it is like, it's breaking my heart. So in that sense,
it's very touching.
Would be like rascal and making him angry. He could also say, it's breaking my heart, but there wouldn't be that positive, that same emotion behind that statement.
I find it very instructive in the prayers of different great personalities. I can think of verses from Haridas Thakur, Rupa Sanatana Goswami, Salabeg, Amidina Hina Salabega. He addresses himself as very, very fallen. Yavana Haridas. I'm Yavana Haridas. I'm a Yavana Malecha. And that's a very, very important thing for us to contemplate on. I mean, in some ways, we're grown up, us Westerners, we've grown up with this concept that anybody can be a devotee, no matter how fallen their family is or whatever like that. And you shouldn't criticize Vaishnavas based on their birth or anything. We have that conception. But at the same time, what are they teaching us? These acharyas are teaching us that we have to own it. Yeah. And that'll be very, very helpful for our bhakti when we're just honest. And it's such a detrimental thing in our society. And it's not just in ISKCON, but I've noted this thing in all types of different Vaishnava Sanghas today. There's a tendency to feel the need to put on a show. And to hide my mistakes, to hide my problems. There is a need for it. Because if you just come out and, in the Sunday feast program and say, I'd like to do this thing or that thing, I can't, someone says I can't follow all the regulated principles, it creates a disturbance in the community. But at the same time, it's so bad that we can't just be who we are. We can't just be fallen, because we place such a stress on preaching to new people, and we have such a hierarchy. We give respect to the big preachers and the managers and like that. It's a very difficult situation. I'm not necessarily presenting a solution for it. I'm just observing. Go on, Prabhuji.
And another phenomena is the false humility. It's like, because that was always the like subject of my contemplation, that how do I believe that such exalted Vaishnavas who are experiencing spurtis and really like going through bhavas and everything, how do they claim such a things? And being like not just posing it, not just like, look how humble I am, but really living it. And it creates another phenomena that we imitate that type of humility, but without really meaning it. Just knowing, oh, that's a proper attitude, that's what we've heard. And so, oh, I'm such a fallen Nilapura, I'm most fallen in the whole universe. verse, but the reality is I don't think so. Reality is
Hmm.
I think because I say so, I'm better than you.
I'm more advanced. I'm so humble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's another like tricky thing with the and that's a really like contemplation that how does these personalities, you know, like Rupa, Sanatana, those you mentioned, Haridas Thakur, you know, they are like they have so much taste, they have so much rati. We can use fancy words, you know, from our Rupa's vocabulary, but they are experiencing, they are living it, yet
But the
still
interesting thing is, Brihad
they
Bhagavatamrita expresses that humility is a natural result of prema. That's real humility. But it also it's there in Vaidhi Bhakti too. And I remember once taking bath in the Ganga in Mayapur, and there was some local persons who had come there as a husband and wife, and who seemed to be the guru. And the lady, before she went to take bath in the Ganga, Western ladies can't relate to this. Please excuse me, anybody's listening. But she went and she bowed down and put her head on her husband's feet and touched her husband's feet and asked for his permission, clearly with her hands folded. And then she did the same thing with the guru. And then they gave her their ashirvad and she took her bath. And I've seen it so many times with the children. That's the thing with Indian children, that they have them go and touch everybody's feet. In our Western society, especially in America, we grew up with Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon. We don't have any respect for authorities whatsoever. And we're aghast, we're horrified when we see people doing it. But that's culture. And it's mundane. I don't really feel it. That woman who's touching her husband's feet like that, and things, she may not really feel that. But by behaving like that, you'll get the ashirvad, you'll get the blessing of different persons. And maybe one of those persons might turn out to be an exalted Vaishnava. And therefore, we deal. There's a story we printed recently in one of our bindus from Padma Purana about Markandeya Rishi. That's what it was, and how the Sapta Rishis, when they saw him, he was very humble. He's bowing down to everybody. His father gave him this instruction: you bow down to everybody. So he was bowing down, and it pleased the Sapta Rishis. So they gave him a blessing, may you live a very long life. And then all of a sudden they realized that this boy is only going to live to 12 years of age. So, you know, what we made this benediction, and what can we do? So then they took him to Lord Brahma to ask what to do. And in the end, the boy offered obeisances to Lord Brahma, and please, Lord Brahma. And the end of the story is that it's how Markandeya Rishi got his long life, by offering obeisances to everyone. That's Vaidhi Bhakti. That's not on the level of prema. That's not spontaneous, but there's some etiquette. There's a lot to be said about etiquette. It's a very, very important thing, and we have this culture. It's a very beautiful and important culture. Okay.
Yeah, may I have just one more question?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand in the verse. There is like 2 times. There's Vrishabhanu Kumari Nama, Shri Radhika Nama Manohari. But the translation doesn't mention anything about the name. Like what's the
Let me look at this real quick here. You look at Shakama Rupa Guna Bhoop. Oops, not this. This is the previous one.
is
Brajaraja Kumar Sham Vrishabhanu Kumari Nam.
No.
Yeah, the translator just gives that basically as you are known as your name. Could that be seen in some other way?
Yeah, I was thinking like Shri Radhika Nam Manohari, that the Radha Nam is Manohari.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, enchanting the mind, or stealing our mind, or Krishna's mind. just the Nam, just the name of Radhika.
Yeah, twice it mentions Radharani's name, Vrishabhanu Kumari Nam, Shri Radhika Nam Manohari. That's an interesting way to look at it too. This sounds bona fide to me. I'm not a big enough Bengali scholar to comment further on it though. All right.
Okay.
Let me go on. Manish Prabhu has made some comment here. Manish, are you here? Physically and digitally? I don't know how you say it. Do you want to read out your comment? I'll go ahead. I find it interesting that the straw in the teeth is mentioned, whether it be Rupa Sanatan, Jagai Madai, or NDT. Not sure what NDT is. Narottam Das Thakur. It's almost non-sectarian in that regardless of background, really the true thing that unites us is, as you say, humility, and that we have no other qualification apart from our disqualification. It makes me think about our society, and sometimes, and this is in no way Vaishnava Aparad, just an observation, that being in a devotee guru camp can also mean we're not actually humble. Yeah, there's Sanatana Goswami in the first chapter of Hari Bhakti Vilas, he says, Advaitam cha parityagat, that one should give up the attitude of thinking I'm non-different from my guru. In other words, that I'm initiated, therefore, you should, that I'm Gurudev's representative. I don't know him. I'm so far away from it. And I tire so much of devotees sometimes saying, that wasn't Prabhupada's mood. Well, sometimes people criticize Prabhupada that he had allowed ladies to live in the temple. They criticize Prabhupada that he went overseas. They criticize Prabhupada that he's friends with Allen Ginsberg and that he had homosexuals as disciples and he went to rock concerts and did different things. That wasn't the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So someone can say Srila Prabhupada has a different mood from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. By our perception, but who can really say who has a proper mood and who doesn't? Connecting to the Jagai Madai Sanatan Rupa Stra Leela, etc., it's clear that they have the same mood, humility, but often in our movement we subtly get caught up in placing Swami's devotee camps over others, almost proud that we belong to this camp. Small but humble point, in that point around I'm the most fallen, period. Not that I'm the most fallen out of my God brothers, but higher than others. And therefore, again, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami says, Gopayad Gurum Atmana. I wrote some article about this. You can find it in Bindu issue 7, Hide Your Guru. We shouldn't advertise our devotion to our Guru because it's such a ridiculous thing. Who is he and who am I? Thank you, Manish Prabhu. And Hari Chandra Prabhu says, again, I don't understand the context of the connection of the last sentence about Mahaprabhu's feeling pain. 17, Manish, not 7, 17, 17. I think it's 7. I'm pretty positive it's issue 17. Hari Chandra Prabhu, do you understand this point now? We discussed with Leela Purushottam. He had the same kind of question. Yes, no?
Mm.
No.
Oh, exactly. Not catching the point, maybe because of English, because this
That's
lecture
okay.
is all about this, but in my mind,
that my Guru Maharaj once he defined humility as the honesty to ask questions and the honesty to present that I don't know. I didn't understand what someone was saying, because if we're crooked, then we're embarrassed. Oh, I don't want to ask it. I should have understood, but I didn't. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's appreciating the humility of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. And it's touching his heart. He's appreciating it so much, but it's also causing pain to him. And I gave an example with Leela Purushottam Prabhu. Just like if your Guru Maharaj comes to your house or something, and he starts washing the dishes or cleaning a toilet or something, then on one level, it really melts your heart that, oh, Gurudev is so humble. My God, I can't even, he's wanting to serve me. But then at the same time, it causes great pain to you. So there's two conflicting emotions. And this is a common theme we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Ujjwal Nilamani and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu when we speak about spiritual emotions, that sometimes those emotions conflict with each other. And so this is one case where there's some conflicting emotions. And it's very difficult to understand when there's two different opposite emotions. But on the one hand, Mahaprabhu is definitely pleased with Rupa and Sanatan. And so much so, looking at the verses here, he tells them that Tumi Dui Bai Mora Puratana Das, you're my old servants. He was pleased with them. And he said, Aji Hoite, from now on, Dunhara Nam Rupa Sanatan. From now on, your names are going to be Rupa and Sanatan. But then he says, Dainya Chada. Give up this humility because it's breaking my heart. If someone comes to us, some advanced devotee, I've seen Fakir Mohan Prabhu. I've seen him with what was it, with who was that sannyasi? My gosh, Parthasarathi Maharaj. Fakir Mohan, I introduced Fakir Mohan to Parthasarathi Maharaj many years ago, and they had a very beautiful relationship. And one day in Vrindavan, Parthasarathi Maharaj's non-devotee mother came to, and I think his brother or something too, came to Vrindavan. And when Fakir Mahaprabhu met them, they were dressed in Western clothes, no kunti mala, no tilak. He bowed down and offered obeisances to them. And they were kind of a little shocked. What are you doing? And then Fakir Mahaprabhu, he got up and with tears in his eyes, he said, no, I really mean it, because your brother is such an exalted person, because your son is such an exalted person, I'm offering obeisances like this. So that kind of humility, which is certainly the kind of humility we're seeing from Rupa and Sanatan in this description too, does two things. It's contradictory. It fills us with a kind of happiness that we can see, but it also makes us feel very terrible. And I'm sure that mother seeing this old man, this old sadhu scholar, offering obeisances to her must have felt terrible. At least Parthasarathi Maharaj definitely felt terrible. But at the same time, simultaneously, he felt happy. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, that he's saying here that you know, I'm happy with you. You're my old servants, and your name's really Rupa and Sanatan, but now just stop this stuff. And we can also perhaps read into this another point, which is that in our social dealings with seniors, I'll give you a direct example of myself with my Guru Maharaj. And after my Guru Maharaj left, one of my old friends, godbrother, once talked to me, commented to me, and he said that, you know, I feel really bad because I was always afraid of Guru Maharaj. And because I was afraid of him, I never got close to him. But I saw that you were always up close because I really wanted to get association. I wanted to get whatever I could. And personally, I didn't express this to my godbrother, but I can tell you all frankly, I saw that Guru Maharaj has this social position. He's a big, big person. He's a guru. And there's a lot of devotees who are afraid of him. And I could see that wasn't really very pleasing to him. He allowed that. He accepted that. And certainly we don't want to try to imitate a relationship that we don't have. But I didn't want to just come before him and be shaking and with folded hands and freaking out and, oh my God, Guru Maharaj. At the same time, I also don't want to go before him and say, hey, yo, my old buddy, how you doing, man? And slap him on the back or something. And there has to be a proper balance of things. So I can understand that, and for a lot of senior devotees, I can tell you, anyone, just as a traveling preacher, I can tell you, if everybody just constantly comes and they're shaking and, oh my God, you're this and that, it's not very pleasing to the heart. And if we can just be natural and relax with them and respectful at the same time, but not, and sometimes as neophyte devotees, we think that being respectful means I have to shake and be terrified and pass urine in my dhoti, you know, because I'm so afraid of him or something, and I got to keep a distance. You know, that's not natural. It's not pleasing. Is that helpful? Okay, no passing urine in the dhoti. Okay, Hare Krishna. Anybody else with any reflections, comments, anything? I hope I don't leave you with that vision of passing here in the devotee. So it just came to my mind. Leela Purushottam, you have something else you want to share?
Yeah, I was just
Or
thinking in that specific connection with this 2329, because it's like really special expression by Sanatan Goswami. I was just how you call it? Like I understood it like Ashabandha, that's like that hope against hope, and in a sense like I have no qualifications, yet I still cannot give up this faith that it is hope, because I'm driven by that hope that one day I will be able to achieve your mercy. But I cannot figure out, like logically it doesn't make sense. How could it happen? And that causes me the pain, like like hope against hope, Ashabandha, which is like that's what I connected it with this last, because I was also like I was noting this last statement by Sanatan Goswami, this hope.
right. Not Prema Shavanadi Bhakti. Yeah, that's a different expression. This expression from Mahaprabhu is that of a senior to the junior. And he's telling them, in effect, look, get up off the ground. Come on. It's okay. You don't have to do all that stuff, All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stop there. Thank you all very much. Let me just say a word or two. I was going to write something in our WhatsApp group. It's just easier for me to say something here right now to everybody what our situation is right now, because everybody's constantly asking me this question. I got a letter today from Gauranga Prabhu, and I got a letter a few days ago also. It seems that here's our situation. It seems we are officially on a blacklist. And even it looks like they may have blocked our bank accounts, the Indian government also, because if you're on a blacklist, you can't do that. And he told me today that they're not giving him a reason. And there's different types of blacklists, and if you killed somebody in India, they put you on a blacklist. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't do any bad crimes or anything. We just overstayed our visit during COVID. We have a good excuse even. So he's trying to work that out. And right now, we just had a talk with the temple president here in Budapest, and he's so nice. And we're in ecstasy here, Krishna Kun and I. Or at least I am. I'm staying in the Brahmacharya ashram. She's in the Brahmacharini ashram. We see each other every day. And there's prasadam, there's deity worship going on, there's katha, there's association with devotees, and I've got a nice heater here at my feet and a nice comfortable room. It's really, really good. So they're inviting us to stay here until at least to the 24th of December, if nothing happens. And we might go to New Brajadam. And we're not forgetting about Leela Purushottam Prabhu's offer to go to Czech. I told Krishna Kun we got to go at least for a few days or something, if not longer. And we also have warm invitations like apartments or places to stay in Lithuania, in Ukraine, Lviv. Recently, some devotees wrote to us, and now it sounds like in South Africa. And previously, there's also some places in America where devotees are offering it, and also now in New Zealand, I guess, too. And so there's some places and things. Hare Krishna. All right. Thank you all very much. And that's all the news that is news across the nation with Madhavananda and Krishna Kun. Narottam Das Thakur. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo, Vamsha Kalpa Darubhascha, Kripa Sindhu Bheva Cha Patitan.